USC is offering free tuition to some students. The university recently announced a major expansion of financial aid for families that make less than $80,000 a year. I spoke to Thomas McWhorter, USC's Dean of Financial Aid, to learn more about the initiative.
It's great to be here.
Good morning. So this sounds great for families making $80,000 or less a year. They're able to attend USC, which total attendance is about $77,000 in cost, and so that will be free. How is this different from previous policy?
Great, thank you for asking. So USC's had a long tradition of providing generous financial aid. We do currently meet the full demonstrated need of our undergraduate students that have needs. So what this is really doing is a major improvement, and there are two key components. A, we're guaranteeing that any family with income less than $80,000 will receive gift aid, meaning scholarships and grants, equal or exceeding tuition if they have even more needs. So that's a key component. The second piece is that we've eliminated the evaluation of home equity in the calculation of a family's ability to contribute. So not only does this help families making less than $80,000, it will also really help families in that middle income group that we find are having difficulty choosing to attend USC.
So I want to get to the homeowner part in just a second.
Sure.
What was the threshold before?
So many of our students that make less than $80,000 are already receiving gift aid or basically what you're calling free tuition. And so what this does is just ensure that the bar is set. If you look at our net price calculator, for instance, or the data that the Department of Education, you can see that really anyone under about 60, 70,000 is already pretty much in that range. So what this does is just ensure that all families under 80,000 are in that group.
So before it was a little bit more flexible, there was other considerations. Now it's a hard if you make under 80,000 a year.
That's right. We'll just be insured. Now that also is families with typical assets, so there are some caveats, but basically it's similar to what other schools are doing.
And then you talked about the homeowners portion, which is it before, if you did own a home, you were not going to qualify for free tuition?
No, what it was is that we assessed home equity different than the federal calculation. Most private schools use what's called the CSS profile to analyze a family's ability to contribute. So in that calculation, we look at assets like business equity, home equity that the federal government may not look at. And so it's been done on an individual basis. It's been based on the family's income and based on the value of the home. So it's not something that put them out of contention. It's just that added to the amount we felt the family was able to contribute.
Okay, and now that it won't really carry that weight.
It will definitely increase the need of some students, or some students that may not have even had need will now have some need that we can help them with.
All right, and so why this and why now?
Well, our new president took office this fall, and she has made improving access and affordability has been a strategic priority for her. We have been making steady improvements in the amount of financial aid that we've been giving to students, but this is a major change. As I think you see that when it's fully rolled out, it will add about 9% a year, or about $31 million to the $350 that we already are distributing to families. So that required leadership and our executive management to really decide how they were going to come up with those additional resources, or whether they could commit those resources.
Wow, 9% from $350 million. That is a good chunk. So this policy goes into effect next year, starting in the fall, I believe, of 2021?
New students, new freshmen, or first-year students who begin in fall or spring coming up will be subject to the new policy.
All right. So what has been the reaction from students about this?
It's been, I think, overwhelmingly positive. Students are very happy to see this. I've been reviewing some of the responses we've received. I want to also make clear that for continuing students, we understand many of them are expressing some disappointment, but we are continuing with our commitment to meet the full determined need of students. And these are students who are already here on the plan that we gave them. And we're also dealing with families who have, and we continue to do, working with students and families who have individual circumstances that may warrant a second look. And I think that's another thing. We're very proud of the fact that we help families with special circumstances. So we encourage any current student who is having difficulty to come to our office and to talk to us and to see if there's anything we can do.
Where's this extra funding coming from?
Well, the president has said that it's going to come primarily from philanthropy. And again, this is another reason why we're phasing this in, so that we can step it in, do it in a stepwise manner and make sure that we can sustain and fund this in a permanent way.